Welcome to Break Free to Brilliance podcast, empowering women in business through thought-provoking interviews and insights. Embrace your authentic power, explore the impact of your story, and discover how writing your best-selling book can amplify your message, authority, and the 3 I's: impact, influence, and income. Let each episode guide you towards brilliance in minutes. This is your host, Seema Giri. I bet I can tell what's happening in your life right now. It's the holidays. Your calendar is performing circus tricks. Your to-do list is judging you. Someone in your house is yelling your name for absolutely no reason. And here I come saying, you should start writing your book now. Yes, right in the middle of the noise, right in the middle of the chaos, right in the middle of the expectations and the emotional swirl. I know how absurd that sounds. I do. But stay with me, because there's a reason this message is finding you right now. By the end of this episode, you're going to understand why the holidays are actually the best time to start your book, and why the woman who begins now will walk into January with more clarity, with more calmness. She'll be more grounded, more visible, and more powerful than she's felt in a long time. Welcome to Break Free to Brilliance podcast. I am so happy you're here with me today. I'm your friend and host, Seema. Now, before we go deeper, I want to take a moment to welcome you properly. If this is your first time here, I'm so happy you found this space. This podcast is where women who are meant for more finally stop shrinking, stop waiting, stop hiding, and start stepping into the identity their life story has been preparing them for. And if you're a returning listener, thank you. Honestly, the fact that you are here during the busiest, most hectic, most demanding season of the year tells me everything I need to know about you. You're someone who invests in yourself even when you're stretched thin. You're someone who listens when life gets loud. And you're someone who is done pretending you don't have bigger voice, you don't have a bigger purpose, and a bigger calling. You're someone who is ready even if you don't feel ready. And that tells me you're exactly the kind of woman who writes a book that changes lives. All right, now let's get into it. The holidays don't just bring chaos. It might be counterintuitive to think this, but it actually brings clarity. When the season ramps up, something interesting happens. You start noticing things you conveniently avoided all year. The roles you're tired of playing, the conversations that drain you, the expectations that don't fit anymore, and the version of you that feels outdated. The decisions you've been postponing and the parts of your story you haven't dealt with. This isn't emotional overload. It's emotional honesty. One of my authors told me, Seema, the holidays didn't make me emotional. They made me aware. And awareness is where every powerful book begins. Books don't start in peaceful silence. They start in the moment you quietly admit to yourself, something needs to change, and I'm ready to say it. That moment, that's page 1. Now, here's something that you may not have thought about, and you will thank me later for this. Writing actually gives you that one thing you never get during the holidays: the guilt-free alone time. And all you have to say is, I have to work on my book, and watch the magic unfold. Your family becomes self-sufficient. People stop asking you where everything is. The noise level drops. Even the dog respects your space. One of my authors said, Seema, I've never had this much peace in December. I'm actually going to write a book every year in December. You see, writing becomes your break. It helps you create your own sanctuary. It's actually your reset. And it also can be your emotional boundary. It's not selfish. It's strategic. Another thing that I think is magical that happens, and I call this the holiday efficiency effect. You actually become more efficient. And here's my theory on that. When life becomes full, you really don't have time to overthink, to overpolish, to second guess, or procrastinate. You say, I only have time for this much. You write and you dump whatever is in your heart. I call this the heart dump. You write everything down, get everything out, and then you leave. And then you come back to it later. So what's happening is that you're actually writing instead of debating, and you decide instead of delay. So I was doing an anthology project with 17 authors. We met every deadline. They wrote faster. They surprised themselves at how disciplined they became and how efficient they became and how they were able to manage everything together. They felt proud of their progress. They had gained confidence and they were able to cross off from their bucket list of writing a book. One woman said to me, you know, Seema, I didn't know I was capable of this much focus. The holidays forced me to choose what mattered. So this season really helps you become more decisive. It makes you bold. It makes you honest. So it's the perfect energy for writing. One of the most powerful parts of writing in December is this. You get to leave behind what you don't want to carry into the new year. I call this the emotional release and year-end closure. You see, writing helps you release the old stories. It helps you close chapters that you are done with. And it really helps you process things you've been holding. Writing helps you understand your own journey. It helps you let go of the emotional weight. And it helps you step into the next version of yourself. One of my authors said, Seema, I didn't even know I needed closure until I started writing. And that's the wonderful part of writing. You discover so many things about you that you weren't aware of. One of the reasons is because as things are ready to be worked on, they come to the surface when it's the right time, when your body, your nervous system knows you can handle that. Second is you're paying a little bit of attention. And it's like a domino effect. You start writing about one thing, your awareness comes of something else, and it really helps you bring that closure. And it also helps you remember a lot of great things about you that you've done, the accomplishments you've had. There's so many things I discovered about myself that I had totally forgotten about. Another client of mine told me that I finally forgave myself for something I've been holding on to for years. Writing is really cleansing. It's grounding. It helps you take the lessons and leave the heaviness. And many of my clients end up writing the book that would never be published, which is the first book. And this I call the healing book. Many people are afraid to just write what they really want and do what I call the heart dump. You just write everything in your heart and let it out because you need that release. Remember, this is why the first draft is called a draft. It is called a rough draft. You get to choose what you get to keep in the final version and what you don't. So don't be afraid of writing everything out. So when you do this, when January comes, you're not dragging old emotional clutter into a brand new year. You walk in fresh, you walk in lighter, you walk with more clarity, you walk in with more calmness, you walk in being more of yourself, being brilliant and shining your brilliance. Now, let's get strategic. Let's talk about the January advantage. January is the biggest decision-making month of the year. And many are already starting to make the decision in quarter four, which is now. January is when people are trying to execute what they want to do. So people are already choosing programs, they're hiring coaches or looking at coaches they want to hire, they're joining masterminds, they're looking for guidance, they're setting their goals, and they're seeking leaders to follow that will help them with the transformation that they're looking for. But here's the secret. They decide this earlier, most probably by December, if not earlier. They decide in December who they're going to be working with, who they're trusting in January. So while everyone else is waiting for the new year, you walk in already positioned, already clear, and already creating something meaningful. Starting your book now shifts how people see you. You feel grounded, you sound more confident, you speak with clarity, and you become the obvious choice. A book is not just a writing project, my friend. A book is a positioning strategy. It puts you ahead of the new year before it even begins. Now let's make this simple. Now you must be thinking, okay, Seema, this sounds great, but how do I even start? I'm so busy. I get it. So let's make this simple. You do not need hours of quiet time. You do not need a color-coded outline. You do not need a writing retreat. You do not need that perfect idea, or you do not need to be ready. You need moments. You have such a powerful tool in your pocket every single time, which is your phone, that can capture all the moments that you are going to be experiencing during this holiday season. See, books are built from moments. They're built from voice notes. They're built from sentences that hit you. They're built from reflections that come up, and you can capture all of this on your phone, either as a voice note or as a note. I suggest doing the voice note because it really captures your emotion as well. It's the small moments of truth, the small moments of honesty that you finally admit to yourself. They're built from realizations that surprise you and from conversations that open your eyes. So start with what feels exciting, what feels heavy, what you're done carrying, what you want the world to know, and the shift you feel happening inside of you. Your book doesn't begin with a strategy. It begins with something real inside you asking to be expressed. So if something in you has been nudging, if your story keeps tapping you on the shoulder, if you've been saying, one day, this is your moment, my friend. So start inside this season that's already revealing what you're done with, what you're ready for, what you want to say, and who you're becoming. DM me the word book, and I'll help you take the first simple, doable step, whether it's your solo book or joining one of my anthologies. You don't need a perfect moment, my friend. You just need a moment. And the holidays are full of them. Thank you for listening today. If this episode sparked something, send it to a woman who has been quietly dreaming of writing a book for years. Let this be the season she finally starts. And remember, the woman who begins today is not the same woman who walks into the new year. She's lighter, she's clearer, she's braver, she's ready. Until next time, this is Seema. And I want to take a moment to mention that the content shared in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. My guests and I share personal experiences and real-life examples that have helped us live our best lives, much like friends sharing stories. While we strive to provide valuable information, it's important to consult with professionals for advice tailored to your individual circumstances. Thank you for being part of our community, and thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, Your story is your strength. Until next time, stay inspired and keep making a difference. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Break Free to Brilliance podcast, and I hope you had some key takeaways that you can implement right away. Be sure to subscribe to Break Free to Brilliance wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also follow along with us on social media using the links in the show notes below. We'll see you again for the next episode.